All right. Thanks for that wonderful and amiable introduction. The thing is that people don't care how much you know, but they do care how much you care. So I really don't think it's about being an expert. We all have to be vigilant, like the wise virgins. We had the story told by Jesus Christ, had the wise virgins. 5 of them were foolish, and the other 5 were wise. And so I see this as a clarion call to be vigilant and at the same time to be alive to our responsibility. It's very key and germane that we connect to our responsibilities because our actions and inactions may be the cause of some person's death, to the extent that every day you wake up, you smile, you laugh, you have to be strategic about it. Else is responsible for what happens to the other person. Today, we are looking at swimming pool safety, specifically the provider's perspective. We say provider's perspective because excuse me. Can you see my slide? Can someone see my slide?
Not yet, sir.
Okay, let me slide in the slide. Are you there?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, so we're looking at swimming pool safety and provider's perspective. Why provider? Provider because the provider has provided a facility, and therefore the onus of duty of care lies on the provider. And so if you ask me, the provider should never go to bed with the 2 eyes closed. He has a responsibility to watch over the facility. You provide the facility, and from time to time, you make money from the perspective of the facility. And as much as you make money from the facility, there must be a balance. You must look at issue from opportunity and risk. Yes, the facility on one hand is an opportunity for yourself and subscribers, and on the other hand, the facility is a source of risk. Therefore, due diligence has to be observed. So for today's presentation, we shall be looking at just about 6 signposts near miss, the foundation for accident buildup. Also, I call it the endlessness or futility of unsafe acts. And then we shall also see root causes of incidents, why incidents happen, looking at the tree down to the taproot. You know, the taproot is the link between the tree and the soil. You know, the taproot have to source for minerals, magnesium, molybdenum, potassium, you know, and it has to be resolved from the root. And then we look at responsibilities of the stakeholders. Who are the stakeholders? The pool provider, the leisure seeker, the pool attendant. The government itself has a role to play. Then we also look at basic pool rules. And finally, we're looking at emergency procedure and rescue missions by the pool. Well, we have a short video to run, and this video went viral. It was so pathetic. While you share your story, I tell you a story as well. Some years back, over 20 years now, I was in the university, and a very good friend of mine had to celebrate his birthday by the beach. If I remember, we were at the terminal level, the 500 level, and it was his birthday. We all gathered, his girlfriend and all that. And of course, the young chap, the undergraduate, very good swimmer, in fact, the best swimmer around. And so it was just swimming free by the beach. We all hit the river, but of course, the fearful me, I would not go into the ocean above my knee. Anything below, the tides is hitting below my knee, I go back. So the celebrant, the birthday celebrant, you know, was giving different swimming turns and loads of applause for him. But at some moment, he really went deep into the ocean. And we all give him loads of applause. At some moment, only the girlfriend could observe that something was wrong somewhere, because the guy began to wave his hand. Unfortunately, we all thought it was another stunt by him. So the girlfriend went yelling and all that he should be helped, but nobody, she was calmed down that it was another stunt. But before you could count 1, 2, 3, the guy got drowned. And alas, on his birthday, right in the midst of his friends and girlfriend, he lost his life. So you can really see how birthday can turn sour. Let's see the. So you can see that, and that just do we take it the third time? So without being told, what happened there because of viewers' discretion, It's better left for imagination. And so really, why do people want to swim? They want to unwind from stress, catch their fun, engage leisure, but sometimes leisure turns to razor. The pressure from razor will actually lead to fatality. Therefore, it is serious business. It's sad that leisure will convert to razor and strip someone of their life. But the big question is what we need to ask. What went wrong by the poolside? Reflections. This section, like some interaction moments. Do we have suggestions on what went wrong? I know it's normal for people to moralize and begin to blame the guy. He shouldn't have jumped from that place. He went too far. He was not discretionary enough. Truly and really, in safety, fault finding is our interest. I mean, fact finding, not fault finding. Facts, not the fault. You point one finger accusing someone, the remaining four gets back to you. So the attitude of investigation does not promote fault finding, but rather fact finding. At some point, we may choose to be indifferent as well. No, it can't happen to me. After all, I don't swim. You know, it could be your brother, it could be your best friend. So over to you, the audience. Are there suggestions of what went wrong? Just 1, 2, 3 points, we'll go. What went wrong? Suggestions.
Can I say something?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. By name Barnabas Ozimbe.
Okay.
I think what went wrong here is there are a lot of things went wrong. Like I happen to have managed a hotel where we have a swimming pool.
Fantastic. You have a lot of stories to tell us, I guess.
Yes. You see, the pool attendant, my pool attendant there, will tell our customers that at least we even have a board written rules and regulations, the do's and don'ts in the pool.
Good.
Like no diving into the pool.
Good.
No horse playing.
Good.
Not drinking while swimming or before swimming.
Good.
A lot of them. But when you want to tell them, because they believe they are paying for it, Africa man factors and all that, they wouldn't want to listen. Like this very guy in question, and what I majorly observe here, he was under influence of drug or alcohol.
Did you rationalize as a proof? It's possible anyway. It's possible.
The possibility. And because of that now, it alters his relationship definitely with the pool attendant there. That will tell him no diving. But he will want to, and his friends too, the peers. If you listen to the background, the friends were praising him. You understand?
Yeah.
Probably him and the friends were under some influence, either alcohol or drugs.
Perhaps, so, I guess you mean they are science students, in quotes.
So a lot of things are wrong there. And if actually you are listening to the pool attendant, and also I don't know if this place in question have an attendant. You understand? I think this accident would have been averted.
Well, I'm afraid I need to stop you because you have almost exhausted my lecture. So I'm not comfortable with you. Thank you. Maybe we should take the video again. Let's see. So as you can see, there were applause for him just at the moment he was diving. So yes, agreed. Evidentially, we could establish peer pressure, you know. But then, while we're engaging on this activity, so to say.
Hello, sir.
Yes.
Yeah, we have a couple of comments on in the comments when you ask the question.
Yes, we may be taking the comments after because of our time. We have loads of slides, and we need to just roll fast and all that, you know. So my heart goes to hoteliers, school proprietors and proprietors, childminders, owners of leisure centers. We should be alive to our responsibility. This guy, you know, perhaps it's possible he's dead by now, or if he's still alive, certainly he's going to suffer some major injury that may lead to major distortion in his lifestyle and all that. And so he may have been Nigerian future Mr. President, or that chap who is supposed to find the cure for HIV by research and all that. So in a way, it's a big loss to the global community. So it's worrisome that we don't lose life too cheaply because we are not alive to responsibility. In addition, his encounter with this incident certainly by now, you know, he may be incarcerated somewhere, been in the hospital for several months, you know, permanent disability, loss of opportunity for earnings, and then he may also lose the opportunity to engage in leisure. Maybe he's now in a wheelchair and all that. You know, families and friends become inconvenient. His brother, his wife is now sleeping on the floor by him at the hospital, running here, there, drug, admission, theater, surgery, blood, and all the whole of issues around these kind of challenges. Of course, if he's got kids, his employer may put him out of work and no money to send the kids to school anymore and all that. For the provider of the facilities as well, the facility may be facing sanctions from regulators. Their reputation is also at stake, and their insurance provider may also see the need to jack up their premium. They may also be facing prosecutions. Of course, fellow staff and other people within the facility will have a dampened morale to the extent that it affects their productivity. And also it affects the national pulse. You are now increasing the traffic at the national hospital. The consultants are having sleepless nights. So, and all these things are preventive, can be prevented. And of course, in safety, the hallmark of safety is prevention. Prevention. It's not good enough to come from the angle of being reactive. Like they say, picture speaks thousands of words. I guess accident also creates thousands of liability, death inclusive. So accident for me, I think should be better imagined, not to be experienced. And so with that scenario, you really have to understand that it's something technical, is beyond what the eyes can see. You have to look deep. You need an helicopter view. You need a microscopic look to really ensure that you exhaust all available clues to what went wrong. And usually at workplace or when accident happens, you have the unsafe conditions and on the unsafe acts. We call them UA, UC. Statistically, it's been established that the unsafe acts accounts for 80% why the accident happens and 20% the unsafe condition. Because of time, the slide you are looking at, to the left, you have the unsafe conditions, things that will naturally lead to the accident. For instance, in that scenario, there is a race platform. That race platform is like a threat. It has enabled the accident. As a matter of fact, that race platform is not supposed to be part of the design of the pool, because that shouldn't be the designated entrance of the pool. So in this instance, that race platform is an unsafe condition that has enabled the accident. To the right of your slide, you have unsafe conditions, a good number of them, horseplay and all the rest, and all the rest, and all the rest, But beyond that, you need to look deep below the soil, and that includes the root causes, usually management failings, excuse me. Yeah. So I talked about the unsafe acts, unsafe behaviors. The list is endless. We indulge in them, we engage in them without knowing it, sometimes subconsciously. Our attitude, we play eye service, cosplay, know it all attitude. For instance, many may ask, why did Titanic sink? Yes, lots of reasons, but from root cause perspective, there was no access control to the section that has the engine where the two lovebirds were having their game, and the ship rudder veered off and watching the two lovebirds, and so that is not like connected to the real accident. Like, also, I talk about near miss. Near miss is usually the foundation for most accidents, and because near miss are not investigated and the recommendation close out, they build up until you have a final major injury. And like you go to watch cinema and you are there for an hour, and at the end of the cinema, you see the end. The end is like the accident. The accident has happened. But if the near misses were tracked, it wouldn't have happened. Yeah, what went wrong? So many things went wrong. Like I said earlier on, unsafe condition, unsafe acts. We say the swimmer hit his head on the pool wall. Yes, that is connected to the accident. You can see that vividly, So you could say it's an immediate cause, you understand? And then, like we suspected, himself and his friends may have engaged in drugs, alcohol, and what have you. His sense of risk perception may also be low. And then peer pressure, and all that, Root causes below the tap. You can't see the causes. You can't see the reason. They are remote. You need to dive deep. Do they have policy? Do they have a safety policy? Do they have incident records, near misses being closed out, enforcement of the policy, even the depth of the pool, is it indicated? And of course, at off-use period, are there barriers to ward up people from? Sometimes the incident may even affect a kid at off-use period. Are there camera monitoring the pool or supervisor go around the pool? Do they have a lifeguard attendant as in at any point in time there's an issue? Are the staff being trained to ensure that a good number of the staff who engage in rescue? The supervisor, does he have written procedures and is he enforcing them? And then back to the government as well. You're looking at our national health and safety policy. Are people aware? Is it being communicated? I mean, that should drive the culture of the nation as a whole, such that it will cascade from the government departments to different organizations to the extent of regulations and enforcement and what have you. Of course, the incident has to be managed. Emergency response, are they available? Do they conduct accident investigations? And are reports written? Recommendations, are they closed out? Of course, either of the two may have happened. Injury, permanent disability, temporary disability, death, trauma, and so many. Of course, the business may also suffer reputation, sanctions, and all that. And then the policies, they are not available, they should be put in place, and so many other recommendations. Management must be alive to their responsibility, be committed, and never to play tokenism, say one thing and then do something else. Of course, we are looking at leisure seekers' responsibility. To start with, the leisure seeker must duly register his or herself with the pool attendant, and of course, engage in swimming lessons. Of course, the leisure seeker must also know their limits. The depth of the pool are indicated from level to level at gradients, and they are indicated. So the leisure seeker must know their limit, and they must also have a sense of risk perception. So we're also looking at the responsibility of the pool attendant. Why the pool attendant? The pool attendant is like the goalkeeper. What's the guy's name? Is it Hazard? What's the footballer? Hazard, or the striker. Once the striker beats the bike man, is left with the goalkeeper. And a good striker will make a mess of the goalkeeper when he's just himself and the goalkeeper. So the pool attendant is just like the goalkeeper. And at that level, like they say, so many water may have passed under the bridge. In other words, near misses had happened severally, and no one cared to resolve those issues. We just say, oh, we thank God in a normal religious way and all that. And so the pool attendant will ensure that there's first aid, the pool is being monitored. Aquaphobic intending swimmers, people who have phobia for water, must be screened off, and life-saving apparatus should be available, near misses attended to, inspections, all these emergency and medical drills, etc. Also, we look at the big guy of the guy who actually makes some cool cash from the whole business. He also has his own responsibility. He has to register with necessary certification organizations that shows that he's doing business in a global best acceptable way. We know these things that, like the ISOs, getting certification of ISO speaks volume. It's expected that if you are certified with ISO, a lot of things have been resolved. You know, the HSE policy must be formulated, made available, communicated, and then make public as well. And of course, a design, the baseline risk assessment needed to be done. For instance, in this instance, that risk platform, I think, was not analyzed at design, because the risk platform, as we see now, is not like a threat or a bait, you know. Then on-site ambulance should be provided, and, you know, retainership, hospital arrangements, and all that to the nearest hospital. And of course, at design, best practice will entail that the children's section is segregated from the adult section, and that also there should be a target of training a percentage, for instance, 30% of the workforce to be immediate hands-on rescuers and all the rest. And of course, these are the days of technology. Cameras could be provided, especially during off-peak. Sometimes toddlers stray away, and before you know it, they are drowned by the pool. CCTV arrangements could be made to make sure someone is looking. Of course, like I said earlier on, government also has a responsibility. Our policy on health safety should be sensitized across board, and the responsible government departments ensuring that they are talking to people is cascaded, you know, from national level down to local level. Everywhere you go, you are aware of safety. I mean, to become a policy, and there should be sanctions from time to time for organizations that are not complying. Because of our time, I'll skip some slides. These are just some basic pool rules: no drinking, don't do slippers, don't dive, cigarette, no pet, no loitering, you know, cooperate with the attendant, and so many more. And then for emergency operations, of course, the risk around the pool is peculiar. So the necessary equipment or material needed to give rescue should be made available. The ambulance, the first aid buses, and, you know, assigned persons, and then a life buoy, you know, to pull victims that are already in water but not drowned yet, or they are still conscious. Telephone, very important. For a rescue operation, the operation is just tap, 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 tap. Of course, 2-3 people should be engaged, while 1-2 persons are manipulating the rescue. The other person should be making calls, ambulance arrangement, and all that and all that. And as you can see, even to rescue a drowned victim, it requires tact. If you are not trained, don't engage in it. It requires tact. In fact, if you are a swimmer, if you are not trained as a rescuer, don't engage in it. It requires its own tact. Only people who are trained to it should do that. And that becomes necessary when you begin to see or suspect that the person has lost consciousness. And then again, the whole operation, it's multifaceted, and it's it's a matrix. You run it concurrently. You're doing this, you are doing that, you are doing this, you are doing that, and everybody is coordinated like a Marshall system. Of course, because we don't want to incur multiple fatalities or injuries, you yourself, physician, heal thyself, they say. And so the onus fall on you to ensure that you are safe first before you commence a rescue operation. And then, of course, for you to conduct a rescue operation, you must begin to look out to be sure, first of all, the patient. You need to confirm, not patient yet, of course, a victim. You need to confirm if they are still conscious. How? You may be calling their name, if they respond, fine. It means that all is well. But if they are not responding, you now begin to do some other necessary survey while your colleague is making sharp arrangement for an ambulance. Of course, assuming that you'll be able to rescue the victim and brought the victim out of the pool, lay them flat, facing upward, and then you begin to see, first of all, are they breathing? And then if they are not breathing, you try to open their airways to ensure that they can grab some air and all that. And if they are, then you move to the next stage, you put them into recovery position. But if they are not, the recovery position is a position that enables so many things naturally. It's a positioning where you like the victim sideways, sleeping on the left side. Now, it's such an arrangement that allows the right hand to be beneath the cheek of the left side of the cheek of the victim. You begin your CPR, 30 compressions per 2 live breath, and you must continue with the exercise intentionally and judiciously while you wait for an ambulance. Summarily, like I said earlier on, it's important that we look at near miss, how accidents, maybe some occasions had happened that someone fell into the pool, but they were not drawn. Now, you need to begin to understand, were there barriers, physical barriers, if it was off-use period, were there cameras to resolve that. Again, we've also seen endless list of unsafe conditions, unsafe acts rather, like in Yoruba adage, where they say, Ishe Nkpani, Ayokayode Nkpani, meaning you don't die of hard work, you only die of indiscriminate or uncontrolled happiness. In other words, horseplay. We have also seen that in the process of investigating the accident, what really went wrong, you really need tools to dig deep. You won't be able to dig to the root of a tree without the use of a shovel, a jigger, and all that. You need tools like for tree analysis, fishbone, HAZOP, and in this case, the 5-wire approach. And then also, they say, Agbajo Lafin Soya in Yoruba adage, meaning you need to cooperate and collaborate to get good results. All the stakeholders has their own responsibility, including the pool attendants, the manager, the management, government, the leisure seeker. The leisure seeker must know their limit. You must know their limit. Don't do backstroke because your friend is doing it. If you have not trained for that, please don't do that. And then the leisure seeker also, the onus fall on you to submit yourself to the instructions and guides of the pool attendant to make sure you observe all the rules. And of course, emergency procedures that must be put in place to ensure that the victim is ruled out. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for your time listening to my little submissions. Questions?
Wow, it's really a wonderful section. And I believe a lot of us will have had the opportunity to write one or two things down. And it's really, really, really an enlightening section, as most of us don't even have an in-depth knowledge of the safety relating to the swimming pool. And I believe with this, most of us will be an advocate of swimming pool safety, going out there to start lecturing and advising people on what is needed to be done and what not to be done when going for fun at the swimming pool. So I can see that some people are already raising up their hand. So Engineer Shamsuddin Dahatu, please, you can kindly unmute yourself and ask your question. Thank you.
Thank you very much. My own is really not a question, but a request. That was a very nice presentation, but unfortunately I joined late, and I was really interested in this class. When I see swimming pool safety, I was like kind of thrilled, and I really wanted to have everything, but unfortunately I joined late due to some issues with my network and stuff. So I just want to request that if the presenter can help us have the slides so that we can read afterwards and then educate the people around us, please. Thank you.
Yes, with the permission of the presentation provider, I think he has my permission to do so.
Okay, thank you so much, sir. So meaning that the slide will be shared to every one of us, and alongside the link to the YouTube video for those who couldn't join on time and joined the webinar section late, so as for them to have a detailed knowledge of what the presentation is. So from the comment section, we could see Mr. Ahmed Adisa saying, "What a beautiful lecture. Thanks so much for this, sir." Mr. Raj Bello, thanks for this wonderful presentation. Oluwasegun Kayode, thanks a lot, sir, for this amazing presentation. And I can see Mr. or Miss Shukuka also giving a round of applause. I am Anunure Abdelbasit also saying well appreciated. So I think in the absence of question, I would like to ask a question, sir, because in the course of the swimming pool discussion we were talking about, being a 3-in-1 safety personnel, a power safety expert that you are, sir. So what can you say about some electrical risks that is related to the swimming pool? Because we've seen a case whereby some people, if not even inside that the swimming pool, probably on moving out things, they end up probably getting electrocuted or receiving electric shock while trying to, how will I put it, while trying to freshen up in the bedroom or refreshing room after the swimming section. So I don't know if you have anything to say about the electrical safety relating to the swimming pool.
Thank you very much. I call you Engineer Mukhtar. Honestly, for me, injustice would have been done if you didn't ask this question. I tell you a story. Just 3 months ago, I was by my gym. I had finished the section and went to the bath to clean up and all that. So I turned on the tap in an attempt to wash my hands. But I was engulfed by tinglings, myriads of tinglings. And it seemed to me like I was dreaming. I said, no, I'm not dreaming. This electricity shock. I had to really struggle and pull my hands off the tap. And I was like, what? Near-death experience, near-death experience. And so if you talk of electricity, of course, like we know, so phenomenal. A good servant, but a bad master. And so again and again, in the order of hierarchy, the facility provider has a lot to do. Earthing of the building, schedule checks to ensure that the building is properly earthed, fuses, at different point with respect to the appropriate rating. And of course, a well discriminating circuitry arrangement that allows multiple isolation for maintenance purposes. And of course, again and again, maintenance culture, very important and germane. However, the guest or the leisure seeker, the onus also fall on them. For instance, you are about to lodge into an hotel. First of all, you assess the room. And the reason to upscale our risk perception, you assess the room. Housekeeping, the toilet, there could be a cobra, do the flushing, check under the bed. And critically, the water heater. A lot of time maintenance issue, leakage issues. Of course, sometimes the water reticulation system of the hotel is made of galvanized iron, which if there are leakages and all that, it becomes so easy to escalate. But essentially, you may not even have the luxury to turn yourself to an electrical engineer and begin to do electrical works in a room. People will say, what's wrong? But of course, principally, at the moment you need to take your bath, at least it's a basic requirement, a procedural requirement that you turn off the water heater. This primarily ensures that at that point, there's no circuitry connection between the equipment, the water heater in instance, the leakages to the water. People hope to take their bath in the hotel rooms, and before they know it, they're electrocuted. It's at a very high frequency. So we need to upscale our risk perception. You have a responsibility to do that, because, like they say, living in the world alone is a kind of risk. And so, minute per minute, you're asking yourself, what volume of risk have I acquired around me now? You assess, you begin to mitigate, what we call dynamic risk assessment. You change location, you reassess again and again. You reassess from place to place. Now you are moved from your room to the bar. and you need to relax. Yes, you reassess. Yes, you need to sit on the stool. You need to quickly find out, the stool, does it have a 3-4 leg? If it's wooden, are there cracks? Is it sturdy enough to accommodate your weight, especially maybe if you're obese and all that? And then in case there's emergency and people need to file out where you are you at the remote position? And sometimes these days we find people, they block the 2 ear with earphones. And so if there is a signal that people should move out, you are not aware because you have centered yourself into a world of enjoyment without care. And so this and many more, I think we need to be observant. Like I said, there were 10 virgins, like the story was told in the Bible. 5 were wise and 5 were not wise. Ladies and gentlemen, if you ask me, you have a responsibility to contest to be one of those 5 wise virgins. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, sir. That's a wonderful, elaborate response to the question being asked. So while we are still waiting for other people to lift up their hand to ask questions, please, sir, I will still like further to ask another question, sir, if permitted, sir. At what point should CPR be conducted for a drowned swimmer? Because we've had cases whereby some people, they get drowned inside the swimming pool, and you will just see people just pressing their stomach. And at the end of everything, some people might not be so lucky to the extent that they end up losing their life while pressing their stomach just for them to vomit out the water or throw out the water. So at what point should a CPR be conducted for a drowned swimmer?
Yes. First and foremost, first things first. What is CPR? Cardiopulmonary resuscitation. But again, you need to be trained for this. Sometimes your action may be the problem. It may have been better if you stay off, because it's unfortunate. In safety, people erroneously apply common sense. Someone is suffering from convulsion. They say, oh, look for stick or wood and put in the mouth. You hear all sorts. Someone has fainted, you say, oh, pour water on the person and all sorts. So, but, these things are, they are professional, they are standard, they are sequential, they are logical, and you need to be trained for it. And, even when you are trained, you need to know your limit as well. At what point should you, like you're asking, should you conduct CPR? At what point should you switch the victim to the hospital? They should all happen in successions, taking your decision per minute, per moment. It's not like a mechanical thing. You have to compare. It's a logical arrangement. Your brain cells are working. You wear your thinking cap. First of all, of course, you will move the victim out of the water. Find out, is the victim conscious? Call the name. Are they breathing? So if they are not breathing, you begin to open the airway, and then that lack of breathing will be the thing that will call for a CPR, So it's not like, it's a drowning person. What you do now, can you sit on his stomach and pump the stomach so that the water will be expressed? To express out the water from the victim, you don't need to press the victim's stomach. You need to lay the victim in a position in a way that is lying down with the left side lie down with the left
The
side.
recovery position.
Yes, the recovery position. In some way, the recovery position. That alone will help the water to be expressed out naturally. Naturally. You may be doing harm than necessary, pressing the victim's stomach or massaging it. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, sir. And thanks for the wonderful response, sir. So just to reiterate what Engineer Biodun Derisu just said, he said it is very wrong to quickly, immediately start administering CPR. Firstly, try to put the person in a recovery position, because CPR sometimes might go wrong if you are not trained to do so. So, and also, what role do you think the pool safety has to knowledge? I don't think there's any policy towards the swimming pool. And over time, I think we've have a countless number of people who has lost their life as a result of going to have fun at the swimming pool. So what role can the government play to enhance the swimming pool safety? Thank you.
Yes, government, like we say in those days, almighty WAEC, government is like that almighty father, quite a fatherly role. First of all, yes, we now have the national wage and safety policy. These things don't happen just like that. They don't happen just like that. First and foremost, the policy, is it communicated? Are people aware? Do they know there's need for them to take responsibility for their safety? So a good number of people are not aware of the document. So the designated departments should create a national and holistic approach to create awareness. And again, designated government departments should also visit the hotel, not just hotel, schools, the schools, resource centers, to ensure that they go with their checklist and ensure that preventive measures are established around the pools. But apart from that, they need to go soft as well. They need to request for incident records, not accident records. In other words, they need to find out what are the statistics of near misses that had occurred and what have they done about it. In other words, the proactive measures should be agitated. Proactive measures should be agitated. And cases where facility providers are erring, of course, government should not hesitate to apply sanction. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, sir. So I think our governments have enough work to do. And I think aside safety advocacy, which you also just did now through this webinar section, which just to advocate the safety measures to be carried out when going to the swimming pool. I also think we as a safety officer and a safety expert, we should also try as much as possible to also go from one place to another advocating. And I think this is another opening of job opportunity for us, where we can also pick up a career as a swimming pool safety expert, because I believe there are several things that can also be done. Aside just being a facility manager, you should also make sure you try inculcating the safety aspect of it, like doing an induction, probably an induction video enlightening the swimmers of what and what to be done, probably carrying out an alcohol test before they swim, as earlier said by Engineer Biodun Derisu, and some other safety measures to ensure that the swimmer is in a good state of mind to swim. or is in physically LD to swim, so as for people not to end up having several casualties. And aside that, adequate supervision while they're also swimming, just to ensure they are being cautioned when they are going against what they are not meant to do. So in a nutshell, we really say a very big thank you to you, sir, for creating time out of your busy schedule to enlighten us this evening on this swimming pool safety topic. And we'll be looking more and more to see you more and learn more on this webinar space. Unfortunately, my very good friend, Waliullah Hadegoke, is very busy at this moment, as he had some things he is currently doing, which makes him absentially present on this platform. So I recognize the presence of my mother, my leader, Madam Belinda Odeneye. I also recognize the presence of my Oga, Engineer Adesheye Omolade, Mr. Shigozie Uzodima, Mr. Shamsuddin Dale Atu, Mr. Tiamiyu Abdullahi Kayode, Ahmed Adisa. I also recognize Akinyemi Uluwadare, Abdul Bakri, Mr. Stephen Owolabi, and a lot of my Ogas on the call. So I recognize your presence, and thank you so much for attending this section. Another wonderful section will also be holding next week Sunday, same time, as would be bringing on board another wonderful safety expert who would also be enlightening us on a topic that will be disclosed in a further date. So once again, I say a very big thank you to you all. So we would like Madam Belinda Odeneye to please kindly give us a closing remark before Engineer Biodun Dirisu has his last word with us. Thank you, ma. Please, ma, you have the floor.
Thank you very much. I'm really glad to be on this call. Well done, Dr. Engineer Dirisu. This is really a topic that should be repeated a lot of times. I remember when I was in a safety commission, we actually did like what we call investigation. Someone fell into a pool and in a hotel and passed, you know, but like we know root cause analysis, the iceberg thing, I learned a lot and I'm refreshed. I would encourage us to keep repeating this, because as we speak, I know about 2 or 3 people who had been to the pool or gone to swim and they died, and then it's like on a happy day. So we don't want a birthday to become death days, like we have said. So thank you very much for the wonderful presentation. And then it's such a reminder for all of us to do something and to talk. And I think that what is happening in Nigeria now is encouraging us to talk more, to take action, to impact our generation better than we're doing. This series of talk as is to sensitize us, is really free and encouragement. We should all seek to learn. And where people are not willing to learn, we have to take it to them by force, because we want to save lives, we want to save people. Thank you very much, everyone on the call. We appreciate your learning mood. We should always learn, unlearn, relearn, so that we can save as much lives as we can. God bless you. Thank you. Well done, everyone.
Yeah. Thank you so much, ma. I can see that Mr. Waliu Adegoke is back on the call. So I think he would have a word or two to say before Engineer Biodun Dirisu. Once again, thank you so much, Madam Belinda Odeneye, for the word of encouragement and lending a voice to the swimming pool safety, ma. So, Mr. Waliu Adegoke, you have the floor, sir.
Yeah, thank you very much, my good friend. Actually, I'm attending to some distress call. That's why I've not been present. Thank you so much for helping to coordinate the section. The few things I have to say, while I was walking around, I had some of the feedback from some of the trainings from Mr. Engineer Biodun and some other who gave contributions, and I would like to also summarize them in just 2 ways. Firstly, we should know that like one of us said, it might not be you. You might think that you don't swim, don't get near to water, but this knowledge, you can pass it on to those who actually use it. It can be your friend, it can be your relative, it can be your colleague. Practice across. This is recorded. The recorded version will be available on YouTube, and we also make it available for everyone. Share it to them. Let them learn from what our safety expert has taught us. And you might not be swimming. Yours might not be swimming. Yours might be something else. We are engaged in various hazardous activities in the name of trying to enjoy ourselves. Some of us do stunts, not really swimming pool stunts. Some of us go for skating, and we'll go extra miles while we are not an expert in the field. So this is a call point for everyone to be mindful of the safety practices. So next week, we'll be going into another dimension totally. We have one of our safety experts also who will be talking to us, hopefully, about Factory Act, about the Factory Act. The Factory Act is very important to know. It's a very important topic. Most of us, let me use, including myself, don't know the back-to-back from Genesis to Revelation of Factory Act. Yes, you might not know everything, but there are key aspect of Factory Act that we citoyeners need to know and to be able to play around with. And from there, from the Factory Act, the following week, we'll be going more into laws, regulations, regulatory laws, bodies, and we'll be diving into that aspect because it's a crucial time for us now with safety professionals in Nigeria to actually dive into this aspect. So hopefully next week, we'll be talking about the Factory Act. We'll be demystifying the Factory Act, and everybody needs to be there. We all need to learn and unlearn and relearn based on this new topic that we're introducing to us next week. Thank you all for your time. Thank you all for coming. Thank you all for your patience. I thank you, Engineer Dirisu, for the word delivered lecture. Thank you, Mr. Blakim, for coordinating the session while I was absent. Thanks for everyone. Thanks, Mama Belinda. Thanks, Western Musonda, for always being here. I can't keep mentioning names. I have a lot of professionals that are here on the call with us. Thank you so much for your presence. You're always present, Mr. Aziz, Mr. Emmanuel. Thank you, everyone, Mr. Olabi. I thank so. Without your consistency joining us, maybe you might be demotivated to even continue. But you're coming and joining us and learning from us, and we're learning from you also, has really shaping us and made our consistency to be consistent. Let me put it that way. Thank you all once again. Mr. Akim, please over to you and address what I'm trying to attend to here. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Waliullah. So thank you. So we would like to hear the last word and the final word on this webinar section from our speaker for today, Engineer Biodun Dirisu.
Yes.
You have the floor, sir.
First and foremost, let me use this opportunity and medium to appreciate and commend Engineer Waliullah for the good job he's doing. If you ask me, or if I'm permitted, I will christen him the Balogun of Sorosoke HSC. You know, he's doing a lot of good work, expanding the gospel of safety all over the world. However, finally, my words goes to hoteliers, pool attendants, child minders, proprietors and proprietresses. Please, let's accept our responsibility to be one of the virgins that would be described as the wise virgin and never the foolish virgin. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you so much, sir. We really appreciate. And once again, we say a very big thank you for creating time out of your busy schedule to enlighten us. So as my friend colleague Waliullah said earlier, we'll be having another section next week. So we look forward to seeing more of you in our subsequent webinar section. And thank you very much to everyone who attended. And towards the end of the webinar section, I also saw my Oga, Alaja Miriam Arowolu, who also joined us on the call. Thank you for also joining us, Ma. So I would like to call the meeting to an end. Thank you so much. And look out forward to seeing the YouTube link and the YouTube video that will be shared, and also the materials that will also be shared for those who didn't join us on time, so as for them to have detailed knowledge about what our today's speaker, Engineer Biodun Derisu, has enlightened us on and taught us. So, and also please kindly share those links to your friends, your family, even those that are not safety personnel. Share it to them, because you might be saving life. And don't be someone who would end up being guilty, having guilty conscience of making someone's birthday turn to death day just because you failed to share this informative video link. Thank you so much, and do have a wonderful evening.